Asahina, were you aware that there was some yellow powder found on top of Ugami's shoe? Her shoe? That's right. Here, as I recall, the spilled powder in the chem lab was yellow. Was yellow too, was it not? So it's not unreasonable to infer that the powder on her foot is the same powder spilled in the chem lab. But why would there be powder in the chem lab on her foot? On top of her foot too? Could it be that because she was there in the lab when the powder was spilled? What I'm saying is I believe Ugami herself spilled the powder in Cabinet C. Wow, I skipped that prematurely. When she dropped the bottle, the powder spilled away from her, so she was able to avoid the majority of it. But some of the powder must have gotten kicked up and stuck to her shoe. It adds up, doesn't it? Which begs the question, why did Ugami go to Cabinet C? The only reasonable answer being, she was there for the poison after all. What else is in that cabinet? No, you're wrong. It was me. I brought her the poison. Because I'm the one who killed her. No, you didn't kill her. The culprit, the murderer. Taking into consideration both the truth behind the poison and the still unsolved sealed room, there's only one person who it could be. Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? No, no, yes! It was a suicide. Ugami was killed by Ugami herself. What did you just say? Ugami herself is the culprit? So you're saying it was suicide. That's crazy talk, crazier than people who jump out buildings thinking they can fly. Yeah, it's hard to believe. I don't even want to believe it. But if you look at things like that, all the pieces fall into place. Ugami retrieved the poison herself, and she ingested it of her own will, to put an end to her own life. And then, there's the sealed room, which makes perfect sense why we couldn't figure it out. That would be because it was constructed by the victim herself. The sealed room was constructed by Ugami herself. She likely sealed the room off to prevent anyone from interfering with her, and then took the poison, ending her life. And until the seal in the rec room was broken, the poison bottle was inside the room. But after the seal was broken, someone removed it. And that was you, Asahina, wasn't it? She's gonna cry now. Everything you did was to steer our investigation off track, am I right? When we discovered Ugami's body, you were just standing by the door, because you already knew she was dead. As well as the fact the poison bottle was there on the floor by the entrance. That's when you picked up the bottle, isn't it? While Kirigiri and I were distracted by me shocked by Ugami's death, and her by checking her for a pulse. Plus, thinking back on it now, your behavior was a little peculiar. I gotta go get them. Gotta go get everyone else. Asahina staggered out of the rec room. You said you were going to get everyone else. However, your true destination was the chem lab where you could exchange the containers. When you arrived at the chem lab, you went straight to Cabinet A where the protein was stored. You filled the empty poison bottle with protein, and left with just the empty protein container. That would just explain the footprints, too. After that, you rushed to get the others, returning to the rec room. I brought them. Whoa, Ogre. Well, looky here, big girl's gone bye-bye. I see, Ugami's been murdered. I hate flashbacks. Unless they're informative. And while everyone's eyes were on Ugami's body, you quietly set the protein container on the floor. I should have realized it right then and there. Normally you would have rushed over to Ugami's body before any of the rest of us, Asahina. In that situation, you would not have left Ugami's side. Ugami committed suicide, and you planted fake evidence to hide that fact. As long as you could keep the truth from coming out, you didn't care if you yourself became a suspect. That's why you didn't do anything about the footprint in the chem lab or the protein-filled poison bottle. You intentionally left those incriminating pieces of evidence for us to find. So you're saying Asahina tampered with the scene to make it look like she was the killer? No. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. I'm the killer. I murdered Sakura. That's enough, Asahina. It's all over. No, it's not over. It is over. We have to end it. We have to put an end to this. No! I hate these! I always get them wrong! This one? Because it should be him reading something. Oops. Okay. She hid in the locker, right? So that one goes there. Okay, there's no blank ones here. Give him the candy. Backed up. And struck her with the bottle. It broke. Hey, come on. And then he found the magazine and wrote her name in it. Ran away. Fukawa comes out of the locker. And then puts the magazine back upside down. Okay, she gets up. Fukawa faints, starts shaking her, and then she picks that up and smashes her with the queen. And then she's on the floor cleaning it up. Ugami gets back up and pulls out the poison, looks up at the sky like a majestic beast, and takes it. Then all this shit happened. She picks it up the bottle at first, right? What else do I have in here? Picks up, no, yeah, this one first. She picks up the poison bottle first, and then puts the protein container on the floor. Let's begin. I think that's all right this time. This was easier than the last ones, I don't know why. The case began with Ogami inviting 3 people to meet her in the rec room. Why is he smiling though? Hagure, Fukawa, and Togami. Of the 3 of them, Fukawa was the first to enter the rec room. Arriving before anyone else, she hid herself somewhere in the room. Her hiding place was inside the rec room locker. From there, she watches Ugami enter the room. The next person into the rec room was Hagure. Take the candy! Mistakenly assuming Ugami intended to kill him, he freaked out. Instinctively grabbing one of the nearby Monokuma bottles and attacking her with it. Believing himself to have accidentally murdered Ugami, Hagure set on working to plant a red herring. He saw the magazine lying on the table and wrote a certain person's name in it, intending it as a fake dying message. Fukawa, by her name in the magazine, he attempted to shift the blame for his crime onto her. But Fukawa herself had borne witness to the whole thing from inside the locker. She stepped out of the locker, retrieved the fake evidence, and returned to the magazine rack. However, in doing so, she slipped up. When she put the magazine on the rack, she put it back upside down. Just moments later, Ugami regained consciousness and appeared before Fukawa. She passed out from the sight of the blood on Ugami's face. As a result, her genocider shell personality gained control, and when she woke up, she was once again greeted by Ugami's blood-covered face, and as you would expect, she freaked out. Just as Hagakure had done, she grabbed her nearby Monokuma bottle and attacked Ugami with it. This explains why she had 2 wounds in her head. Believing herself to have just killed Ugami, Genocider got to work disposing of the evidence. She collected the broken bottle fragments and the Monokuma figure holding the queen. And with that, Ugami had been struck twice with the same weapon. But despite that, she was still alive. Here's the question, what was her true cause of death? The answer, the poison she herself took from the chem lab. Majestic beast! She sealed the rec room from the inside, preventing anyone from entering, and then took the poison, ending her own life. Next, we found her corpse. I broke the window in the rec room's door, breaking the seal in the room at the same time. However, someone had already knew that Ugami had committed suicide. They snuck out with the poison bottle and replaced it with a poison container while nobody was looking. In doing so, they brought suspicion onto themselves to lead us away from the truth during the class trial, and the person who did all this oh, we're so fabulous, was you, Asahina. Complete. That is the truth behind this case. She's gonna cry again. Ugami took her own life, and you claimed you were the culprit to hide the fact, didn't you, Asahina? That's the truth? But Naegi, how did the likes of you reach that conclusion? When I was unable to. He's not perfect. Well, you still don't get it. Gain and loss are not the only criteria humans use to make decisions, and that's what makes them so complex. You don't understand that, and that's why you couldn't reach the truth. I warned you, didn't I, that your lack of consideration for human emotion would come back to haunt you. Take that, Togami, in your face. Well, this trial's over. Yay! Yay! Coins! That I'm not using anymore. Hey, you guys are making it sound like you think the punchline's already been delivered. But you seem to be forgetting, we haven't had ballot time yet. Ah, yes, that's right. You actually forgot? Man, you're no fun. That's kind of tradition, so I guess we gotta do it anyway. It's just for show. You know, it's a bit of a pain, but please cast your ballots using the switch in front of you. I wonder who the villain's gonna be. Will you be right or will you be oh so wrong? Let's find out. He's so depressed. I have nothing to say for this. Correct. Yep, Sakura Ogami was murdered by Sakura Ogami. That's it, the end. So you guys were right. But there's still something I don't get. To what end did you attempt to cover up the truth behind Ugami's death, Asahina? Had you actually succeeded, you too would have been executed. And why would you do such a thing? Yeah, dude, you almost got us all killed. That's what I was going for. Huh? The reason Sakura died is because you all backed her into a corner. You all killed her, so I couldn't let her be the only one who died. Girl, are you saying you wanted to drag us all down with you? Someone has to pay the price. Me, you, and everyone. We're all responsible for her death. So we all should pay. You for real? What makes you think that? Still don't get it? Fine, I'll tell you. I'll tell you how much despair Sakura was in when she died. Look at this. The despair of everything, the constant fighting, it's ugly, and only serves to deepen my despair. If all I can do is wait for someone to kill me, I would rather end things by my own hand. What? I found it on the floor outside the rec room. It's Sakura's suicide note. Her suicide note. In hindsight, there were clues she was planning to do this, even before it happened. Earlier today, after Genocider attacked me, when Sakura ran out of the infirmary, all angry about it, I chased after her. Oops, wrong button. Hey Sakura, relax, I'm fine. How could I possibly relax? I care not if they come after me, I accept full responsibility for my actions. But for you to suffer because of me. For you, my dear friend, to stand up for me. And to be injured as a result. Sakura, because of me, because of what I've done, I have turned everyone against each other. I am responsible for everything. Sakura blamed herself. She felt responsible for everything. I'm sure the reason she wanted to talk to you three was to find if there was anything she could do to earn your forgiveness. You're going to meet with them? That's really a bad idea. You're putting yourself in danger. Why, worry not. I'm simply going to speak to them. What about? You really shouldn't go. If all three of them come at you at once, even you couldn't. Asahina, do not mistake them for your enemies. They are our friends. She trusted you guys. She really, truly believed in you. That you would be able to understand if she opened up to you, that you were her friends. And yet... You stomped all over her feelings in the worst possible ways. Well, that was more like an accident. Don't you try to weasel out by calling it an accident. She trusted you guys, and you wouldn't even give her the time of day. You very nearly killed her without even hearing her out. She was in despair because of you. And that's what this note is saying. If all I can do is wait for someone to kill me, I might as well. That's how far you had backed her into a corner. Sakura, you're hurt. What happened? Asahina, so you came. Stay right there. I'll go find you something to get you bandaged up. Asahina. Huh? I am grateful you have had the opportunity to meet you here. What's wrong, Sakura? What is this all of a sudden? Could I ask a favor of you? A favor? I would like some protein. Could I ask you to get some for me? Sure, yeah. Hang on, I'll be right back with it. That was the last time Sakura and I ever spoke. I went to the chem lab to get the protein she asked for, and there was powder all over the floor. That's when I realized that Sakura had gotten something from the poison cabinet. I ran back to the rec room as fast as I could, but I was too... Sakura, open the door. Why? Why should you? Why should you have to die, Sakura? Sakura was just a regular person. She had weaknesses just like everyone else. She bled. She felt pain. She was just a regular, fragile human being. And yet you all kept demonizing her, kept accusing her of things. And when I got hurt trying to stand up for her, I burdened her even further. And I didn't even realize what I had done. Asahina, we all killed Sakura. We backed her into a corner and killed her. There's no good reason for us to go on living having done that to her. So you thought you'd try to take us all down. You intentionally tried to lure us to the wrong conclusion. She died despising everyone and wanted to get revenge for her. You saw through me, and in the end I couldn't do anything for her. How am I supposed to face her now? Hey, sorry for interrupting your sob story, but Holy Mother of God Almighty, does it ever end? I'm falling asleep over here. And anywho, do you really think you can know what Ugami was thinking when she died, Asahina? What's that supposed to mean? Let's be honest, most of what you've been rambling on about has lasted ever, and for the last ever as just your interpretation. An interpretation predicted on the suicide note. Of course I know, Sakura and I were... If you let me finish, I was trying to say the basis for your interpretation is invalid. And this baby in here might possibly mayhaps be the real thing. What's that, dude? As if it weren't obvious enough. It's a suicide note, Ugami's. Suicide note, but Asahina didn't already... What? I read that wrong. I wrote that one. This one was left in your room, Asahina. Ugami must have wanted you to have it. Wait, so... You tricked me? Tricked is such a harsh way of putting it. I wanted to spice things up a bit, that's all. And anyway, you're responsible for whatever you decided to believe my silly scribbles meant. I mean, it's not like Ugami's name is anywhere on it. That's not fair. Nothing unfair about it. I didn't do nothing wrong. Did I plant fake evidence? Did I try to divert your attention from the true culprit? You guys are the reason this happened, and you guys are the reason it got so messy. I didn't do anything. So what if that suicide note was the spark that set it all off? It was still all you guys' work. I'm totally in the clear, it was just part of the show. So what does her real suicide note say? If you really want to know, I'll read it to everyone, with a world-renowned beautiful voice. By the way, did you kind of wonder just who exactly came up with the idea of people leaving notes behind before committing suicide? Sadly, I'm willing to bet whoever it was had already taken her own life. We'll never know. It's scary to think of how things can get washed away in the river of time like that. Would you please get started already? Yeah, here I go. Ahem. My dear friend Asahina, there's something I must share with you. Though it pains me to do so in this fashion, it is something I would like you to know. This is my final wish.